All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Erica. I'm from Brazil, but currently I'm working at AIST in Japan, and I'm very happy to be here today presenting this work on definition modeling. So first of all, wow, how do I switch the slide? Okay, switched. All right. So first, what is definition modeling? Um, Definition modeling is basically the task of estimating the probability of a textual definition given a word being defined. So let's say we have this sentence, he batted the flies away. So given the word batted, we would like to estimate the probability that its definition is to hit at something or someone with the flats of one's hand. And why would we want to study this task? Well, it has been shown that it helps us to give like a transparent view of how well the language models capture syntax and semantics. And it's a kind of like intuitive way of understanding what the language models know about it. Because if a model cannot define something, how can we expect that it knows what it is? So how can I ask a model to teach me how to make a cake if it does not know what a cake is? That's kind of like the idea. Um, so far, existing prior works are mainly encoder-decoder based models, and yeah, most of them focus on English. And we find really just a handful of works that do anything outside English, so French and Chinese, basically. And considering that now, like everybody's using AI, even people that are not in the scientific community, we do find that it's important to explore languages from relevant areas that are usually neglected, such as Latin America. So our goal with this work was to evaluate how well large language models can provide definitions for words in Spanish and Portuguese, which are the main languages. And yeah, we would like to use this task to study the multilingual abilities of instruction-tuned LLMs in these languages. So this is what we've done. First, we had to collect data because there's no data for Portuguese and Spanish. So we just scraped 2 online dictionaries. And unfortunately, the dictionaries do not allow redistribution of data, so we cannot share the data sets with you. But if you would like to create it yourself, you can ask us, we can help you. So just to have an idea of the statistics, we put here information from the Oxford data set, which is like the standard for English. So you can see where we stand with Portuguese and Spanish. So for the experiments, well, we focus first only on monosemic words, which are words with only one meaning. Our data sets do not have usage examples, which is important for polysemic words. So that's why we didn't touch that part. And we used 2 white box language models, Llama 2 and Mistral. And we did experiments doing 0-shot and few-shot, but we did not do any sort of like fancy prompt engineering. It was just like really this simple prompt, like define this Portuguese or a Spanish word, and please use only Spanish or Portuguese. And then we repeated this setting 3 times. So to evaluate this, we use 2 scores, blue score and bird scores, which are the standard for this task, but there's some debate if are they actually good for that or not. And that's why we also tried a little bit with comments to see if we can, yeah, get some more insights using comment. And we also measure the compliance of the levels of the models, which basically measures the percentage of examples that were where the generations match the target language. So I want things in Spanish and Portuguese. I don't want English. So we wanted to measure that. And for the results, I'm not putting any tables because we don't have time. So basically what we saw is that models did struggle to reach the same performance in English. That was sort of expected. And yeah, many of the outputs were in English. And for in-context learning, I mean, I guess we usually expect that, oh, if you give more shots, that should help. But with our results, that was not very clear. Differences were not always significant across metrics and languages. But we noticed that what these can help is to give the models a more like, help the model learn how to give dictionary-like definitions, but not exactly give the right definition. So if the model does not know the word, it doesn't matter how many examples you give, it won't be able to give a good definition. And we also then did some human evaluation. We recruited 1 volunteer native speakers for Brazilian, Portuguese, and Spanish. We gave them a set of 100 generated definitions select based on comment and asked them to evaluate based on this Likert scale. And what we could see is that the Comet scores sort of align well with the Likert score. So I think this is a good sign, but there were some odd results. Negative correlation or zero, close to zero correlations that we think it might be due to some of the definitions being very long, and that does affect the performance of Comet. And there are some nuances from the models, like Llama was very precise and correct, but Mistral was rather really good or just really bad, and the Comet just couldn't figure that out. So as for some of the conclusions that we get, we saw that many of the definitions that were mistakenly generated in English were actually correct. So the models know the definition, but they don't know how to do outside English. So this is something that, yeah, we need to work on. And as a promising research direction is study the task from the perspective of chain of thought reasoning. So for example, ask the model, define, and then translate and see what happens. So yeah, thank you very much.
That's done. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. It's just a question about the dictionary of languages. You use the dictionary for Brazilian Portuguese,
Yes.
but for the Spanish is the general Spanish, right? I'm not sure if it makes a difference. If it were the
Okay.
Portuguese compared to the Brazilian Portuguese, I think it would make a huge difference, but I'm not sure about the Spanish. Thank
You
you.
mean, okay, for Portuguese, we use, yeah, that's definitely a Brazilian Portuguese dictionary, but for Spanish, it's like a general one. That's what you're saying?
Yes, it's on a Spanish website, right?
Yeah, that is also a dictionary as well, but yeah, it's not specific for Latin America Spanish. I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure how much there's a difference. I don't know Spanish very well, but
Definitely there is a difference, but I don't think that we have resources like available online. So usually if you just look for Spanish, this will be something more general, which is sad. Yeah, so definitely that's something that this difference is, yeah, something that we still don't have the resources.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, hello. Yeah, just a clarification that actually the dry is actually the consensus seems to be that it's pretty good at capturing both European and Latin American Spanish. So yeah, no, but my question was, can you quickly explain how BERT score and Comet work?
Well, basically for I don't have any slides for that, but BERT scores that they are like you train a model to score. It's different. Like for blue scores, basically you just look at the original definition and the generated definition, and you try to figure out how the bigrams or n-grams match. For BERT scores and Comet, you train a model to do that for you. So it's like there's like debate if there's actually good or not. Sometimes it's showed like BERT score, for example. It's basically you get the embeddings from BERT, and then you just measure the similarity. That's basically for BERT embeddings, and it's shown that it sort of aligns with human evaluation, but still like it's fuzzy. It's very fuzzy, and at least for this task, it has been shown like that they cannot capture some sort of nuances between like the differences of the definitions. That's why like we tried Comet, which is like another machine learning based metric, which it's been kind of like people in machine translation are using a lot nowadays, just to see what will happen. And we see some alignment, but it's kind of hard to say which one is best or not. Because in the end, like to define a word, you can define it in several ways. It doesn't have to be just like the way the dictionary cell tells you. So yeah, still that.
All right, thank you very much.